Alrighty, good day everyone. Just wanted to take you through a very quick video if you're trying to get onto a Zoom call for the first time and maybe just a little nervous because you're not very sure on how to navigate through a Zoom meeting. So what will happen is the host of the meeting will typically send to you a link with a meeting ID and password. Sometimes you have to use the meeting ID and password, other times you do not, but it's available there if that box were to pop up. So we're going to click on the link and it will take us right to the Zoom page. Now that we're on the Zoom page, you'll see that there's a little message box that asks you to open Zoom meetings. You do not need to check anything here. You simply want to hit on Open Zoom Meetings.
Now, there are times when you may get into the Zoom page and you'll see a screen that looks like this that says, please wait for the host to start this meeting. You haven't done anything wrong other than you're just earlier than the host, or the host just hasn't actually started the meeting yet. So that screen will stay that way until the host actually begins the meeting. So nothing to really do there. If for some reason you find that this goes beyond the start of the meeting time, simply text, email, or call the host and let them know that the meeting has not started on your end. But typically this is not a problem. Now, there are times where you may see this message pop up, which says, please wait, the meeting host will let you in soon. That simply means that they've created a lobby for this meeting, which means that the host has to actually physically let you into the meeting. Most people do this for security reasons, just to make sure that the people they invited are the only ones that actually join the meeting. Again, nothing to do here. If for some reason the meeting time passes from when it was supposed to start, then again, you may want to text or email or call the host just to let them know that you're waiting to be allowed into the meeting. And the last box that you could possibly see before you actually join the meeting itself is this one, which says join with computer audio. For most people, this is the way you'll join the meeting. You'll simply click on to that blue box and you'll be let right into the meeting. For some, though, if you have issues with your microphone, if for some reason the quality of your sound is poor, you may not want to use this option. And in many cases, the host will provide you a phone number where you can call in as opposed to using computer audio. So what that means is that your computer will still be logged in and you'll be using that for video. But for your audio portion, you'll be calling in from your phone using the phone number provided.
So this is a typical view of what the screen will look like when you first log in. And I will tell you, this is where most people get hung up because it's unclear as to what to do next from here. So in order for you to continue on, you have to kind of move your cursor around. And then you'll see at the bottom a quick menu that will pop up. The most important part of this for you will be to start your video or to unmute. I will typically not unmute myself unless I just want to quickly say hi to the people on the call, and then I will immediately mute myself just to make sure that there's no background noise, dogs barking, kids screaming in the background, etc. Because it is very disruptive, and I will tell you, if there's anything to do something wrong in a Zoom meeting, it's to not mute yourself when you're not speaking. So just make sure that to be a rule for yourself is mute yourself unless you're ready to speak. Of course, starting the video, you can just toggle that on and off if you want to start your video. So those are the two main functions. Those are the two main rules, I would say, that you want to pay attention to. Now, if for some reason you might be logging on with some other Zoom account, or let's say you misspelled your name when you first were logging in, you can always change that by going to the three little dots in the right-hand corner by your name, and there'll be a drop-down box, and you'll see the function called rename. You can click on that, and you can rename yourself appropriately if you made a mistake, and we'll just change this to Sally Smith just to make the point, and it will change your name on the screen. So that's how you can change that. Now again, we'll go down here to the menu. As you move your cursor around, you'll see participants, and if you click on that icon, you will see off to the right hand side a screen that will show you everyone that is on the call, and it'll show you who's muted and who is hiding their cameras. So that's kind of a nice function as well. In that function, you'll also see the raise hand feature. So this is really important. Sometimes if you're having to take a vote at a committee meeting and someone will say, we're going to do a count by raising your hand, they don't mean that you physically raise your hand through the video screen. What they're really talking about is this function. So again, this function is by clicking on participants, and you'll see the screen pop up on the right, and at the bottom you'll see this raise hand feature, and if you click on it, you'll see by my name, now Sally Smith, you'll see a little hand pops up, and that's just a quick way that you can use a voting function if they ask you to do that. And of course, when you're done raising your hand, just go right back down to the bottom and you'll see a function there that says lower hand, and that's as quickly and easy as that works. So about the only other two functions I could think of that you may want to use in a very basic way is the chat function. You've got to be careful with the chat function. If you click on chat, you'll see the chat box pop up. But this is the part you have to be careful of. When you type in a message, it defaults to everyone. All right, so if you want to maybe send a private message to the host and say something like, I can't see you, only the host is going to see that. But maybe you're trying to speak to the crowd, but no one's responding to you. So maybe you would chat and say something, can anyone hear me? And of course, you'd want to send that to everyone. But it'll tell you right here who you sent the message to. But once it's out there, there's really no way to take it back. Okay, so that's why you've really got to be careful with the chat function. And then lastly, you have the opportunity to see who is speaking. And in order to do that, you could just eliminate everyone else and just click on speaker view. But if you want to see everyone's faces and see who's there, you'll get a gallery view of everyone that's joined. So those are the two things you can toggle back and forth from. But again, I'll bring you back to these two buttons here. This is your video and your mute or unmute. And again, that will disappear. That menu disappears when it's not being used, and you simply move your cursor to get back to that. And then when you're ready to leave the meeting, obviously there's a very easy icon to use here, just simply called leave. So hopefully that's given you enough information to navigate your first Zoom meeting, help you avoid any common mistakes that sometimes first-time users find themselves in. And I would say overall, the biggest mistake that most people make when they get on their first Zoom meeting is they don't realize that their camera's on, or they forget to mute. And I would say it's common courtesy to stay muted unless you really have something to say. And then when you're done, to please mute yourself. And that'll make a much easier meeting for everyone involved. All right, hope you enjoy your first Zoom meeting, and I trust this tutorial was helpful for you. Thank you.